Welcome back to the Rebel Tribe podcast. I'm Melodian, your host. Yes, and I'm coming to you today. I know I look like the great orange pumpkin, but it's cold and I'm still not feeling 100%. And I'm choosing comfort today over perfection. And that's kind of what our guest is all about anyway. So honestly, it just feels like the perfect setup for today's conversation. My guest today is Dr. Mazella Fuller. She's a clinical social worker, an educator, a mentor, and a deeply thoughtful voice on what authentic leadership and allyship actually look like in the real world. Dr. Fuller has spent decades working at the intersection of mental health, education, equity, mentoring others, and challenging systems that ask people to perform awareness instead of doing the real, and let's be real ourselves, often uncomfortable work of change. She is the co-editor of an anthology called Antiblackness and the Stories of Authentic Allies. She's also the co-author of Treating Black Women with Eating Disorders, a Clinician's Guide, it's a work that centers lived experience, honesty, and responsibility over optics. I did, I will admit, it's kind of out of my league a little bit, but I did go through it in preparation for this. And I'm telling you, if you're working with anybody in that realm with eating disorders, you need to pick up that book and read it. So
Thank you.
today's conversation is all about leadership and service. Mentorship as walking alongside, because too many of us think mentorship is basically making little carbon copies of ourselves, and that's not what it is.
True.
So, we're going to talk about what it means to show up authentically, even when it's messy, uncomfortable, or imperfect. This is not a surface level discussion. If you think that's what we're here for, you just need to close up now and scroll on by, okay? Because this is going to be a grounded, thoughtful conversation about turning discomfort into dialogue and dialogue into meaningful change. Mazella, I am so grateful that you are here. Like I said, I flipped through the book. I got a
Yes.
copy of it. I flipped through it. It's over my head. Okay. I admit it's over my head. A lot of the stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm not in
Well,
that field. And
right.
so, but I could tell that, I mean, even that I could tell that it was really, it's an important work. So I'm glad you're,
Yes.
so let's
Thank
get
you,
right into
Molly.
it. Because I
Yes.
have a
Thank
bunch
you.
of questions for you that when I first heard about you and started reading about you,
Yeah.
I was amazed and I have a lot of questions because allyship is so important to me. So when
Yeah.
people hear words like allyship or systemic change, and it can feel kind of, I don't know, it can feel kind of abstract. But
Yeah.
for you, this work is personal. What
Yes, it is.
experiences shaped the way that you see leadership and advocacy? Say that 3 times fast. I think I lost her. I think she froze.
Oh no.
Oh,
Can you hear
that's
me?
okay. Yep,
Do
I
you
can
have
hear
me?
you now.
Okay, great. Well, I just want to reiterate that I'm so happy to be on your podcast. It's such a privilege to be with you today. And great leaders, I feel personally, will they're just in service. And I think about it's personal for me because I went to an undergraduate institution that motto was enter to learn, depart to serve. And so that's a strong value of I align my values with that. I'm also part of a sorority where the whole purpose of the sorority is service to mankind, humankind. So my spiritual base as well in terms of service. And so and I've been in education for 40 plus years on some level of mental health or teaching. And it's just a natural to lead and service others and walk alongside them. Like you said, this work is a collaborative experience. It's mentorship and sponsorship is walking alongside a person and shining their light as well as your own light.
I'm glad that you really push that thought out there because so many people think mentorship is just creating little carbon copies of themselves, and that's not what it is.
No.
Mentorship is walking alongside the person and help them becoming the best version of themselves.
So
And
true.
you have spent decades mentoring others.
Yes.
So, what's something that you wish more leaders understood about stepping into power without stepping on others?
That, first of all, value the lived experience of your your staff or the people that you are your direct reports. Diversity can be region of the country. Um, it could be ethnic. It could be whatever. But we all have such a richness to bring to the table. So valuing that and listen. We have to talk to each other. We have to respect each other and we have to hear each other's stories because we all have a story to tell and a story to share.
I agree. I wish more women would get that through their heads that you have a story. It's okay. Share it.
Yeah, share it, whatever it is. Because women, believe it or not, and you and I know this, Melodian, women are so powerful. We have so much. We have so much available to us. So many ways we can be that village, be that Mother Earth. Be it's I went to and I'm a feminist and a womanist. I went to Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts, with the likes of Gloria Steinem, and not that we agree with everything that she says or do, but some of these really, but women that are really trying to the footprint of others and the generations that's coming behind us.
We could get into that conversation
I
for long.
know that's another podcast. That's another one.
That's a whole other episode.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You do talk though about authentic. I'm sorry. Echo. Shut up.
Oh, oh no.
Sorry, something triggered her.
Yeah.
You talk about authentic allyship versus performative allyship. And that
Yeah.
kind of struck a chord with me when I read that because I'm always talking about showing up authentically as versus, performative marketing. So yeah, same thing kind of.
Yes.
We seem to have lost our authenticity.
Yes.
What's the difference that people often miss between showing up authentically, authentic allyship, and performative allyship?
Well, the thing is, we're centering authentic allyship because that's when you support you support people in ways of promotions. They don't have to be there. You don't have to be talking to them like, I have friends and we do this and that. I could be absent, Melodian, and you will say, Mazella, I know that she can do that project. I'm going to put her name in the on the table. And I didn't know anything about it. And folks will come and say, well, Melodia said this and that. Oh, really? So that's, you're speaking your truth. You're speaking your truth. You're not just talking it, you're talking it and you're walking it. Whatever it is, whether it's sponsorship, whether it's advocating for justice for people who might be on the margins and do not have the power that you have or the privilege that you have to center the people that are in the shadows.
So I saw this meme the other day, and I'm sure we've all seen it 100 times.
Yes.
It's what is it? Your progress doesn't live in your comfort zone or something like that. And I remember my grandmother always quoting off little proverbs about the
Yes.
same thing that if you want to
Uh-huh.
get anywhere, sometimes you just got to step outside where you're comfortable. Why do you think that is? Why do you think discomfort is such an important part of growth? And why do so many people try to avoid it?
Well, I think, strategically, people don't want to lose things either, right? They don't want to lose their status, their position, their salaries. I mean, it's a lot when you take risks to advocate for other folks, right? We see that all the time. When people take risks to come in solidarity, uh, sometimes the consequences could be life or death.
So I want to talk about your work if you don't mind,
Sure.
because you've done some amazing things.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So in your work, um, what does real accountability look like? Like when someone genuinely wants to do better, what does that look like?
Well, you start by talking to each other. You start by breaking bread together, maybe. You start by taking risks. We don't know, by cultural humility, just have cultural humility, right? We don't know everything. I don't know everything. I am willing to learn. We are lifelong learners. So if you're accountable, is for example, think about community. Just think about something we can do tangible, like what you and I are engaging. This is also kind of it's MLK weekend. So this is kind of community engagement, right? So if I want to help um, sixth graders or pre-K kids, and I want to start a program, and I have an unlimited amount of resources. And so I'm going to hire all PhDs or master level, and I'm saying we're going to put this program in a urban city somewhere. And we have not included anybody in that community. So it doesn't start from the top down, it starts from the bottom up. Accountability.
Oh, boy, you touched on a nerve with me.
Oh, oh, tell me about it. Tell me about
Oh no,
it.
I came out of an industry where we were always being told that, this is how we're going to do things and this is how it's going to be and this is the new system, the new process, the new whatever, and we're all standing there going, this is not going to work. Did you
Yeah.
actually think to check with any of us
Hello.
before you decided to put this
Yes,
out? Because
yes,
it's not going to work.
yes, absolutely. And that's where we are. This is the kind of system. But we hope the podcast, we women 50 plus, 40 plus, we're so powerful. We have so much wisdom, so much experience. So, and we are willing to share, right? What works and what does not work. We just need folks to listen. And they're doing this with your audience, right? Remaking yourselves, living your best lives after 40. Just all sorts of wonderful things.
Well, like I said, I went through your book, and again, there's a lot of it that just was a little bit above me. Um,
Uh-huh.
but even I could tell that it really it fills a gap that's I
Yes.
think existed for far too long. Because I like I said, I am not much into eating disorders and such. I have the eating disorder. It's the fact that I really like food and I probably need to
You
not
and me
eat so
both.
much. Okay.
Eat everything in place, in sight.
But I could tell that it was really well written and it really seems to fill a gap.
Yeah.
So, what do you want clinicians and communities to understand better about this subject?
Yes, it was a group of I love anthologies. That's the only books I want to participate in because I like to bring the community and other voices, right? So we had wonderful contributors in both books actually, and the eating disorders book is really to hear the story of the barriers. This I think it's the only and first book of its kind, and the whole to bring it to introduce it was to look at food insecurity, look at food deserts, examine barriers for mental health care. Because there's been a sort of an impetus or a push that only certain people have eating disorders or only certain individuals. And so we wanted to make sure that it was an inclusive book that, all BIPOC women, Asian women, it's just not a certain niche. It's, all women struggle with eating disorders. And, looking at the psychological piece to it, as well as the environmental piece as well.
Yeah, there were some things in there I found fascinating, especially the parts about how food insecurity contributes. because that is a pet subject of mine. And again, we could talk about that forever too.
We could.
Food insecurity and food deserts. And I need to have
Yes.
you come back on a couple more times.
You know what? Melodian, I will share the love. I will have my contributors will be loving. They will love to talk to you because all I have to say, you got to talk to. Okay, when can we sign up to talk to her?
'Cause I work with a couple of the local food pantries around here,
Yeah.
and yes, food insecurity is such a big deal, and you don't
Yes.
think about the fact that it can contribute to eating disorders. You don't
Yeah.
think about the fact that food deserts, people are, what is that? I can tell you what that is because I lived in one for a little bit. But fortunately, I
Uh-huh.
had the ability to be able to get in my car and
And
drive, where
there
some
you
people
go.
don't.
They
So
don't.
it's a
Yeah.
whole other podcast. Let's put that on our calendar.
Yeah, you need to put that on. And we're also struggling with hospital deserts now too. It's just emerging. I mean, it's oh my goodness. We just got to keep hope alive and keep doing the work, Melodian.
Well, you've said that leadership isn't about climbing alone, it's about building the village.
Yes, it
And
is.
we've heard that before. It takes a village. I
Yes.
totally agree. I mean, there's been times in my life when I have been so grateful for my little village of people that surround me. What does that actually look like in practice?
It's about the collective, right? It's not about competition. It's not about rugged individualism. It's collective. I'm going to, we have whether that's the podcast, whether that's leadership clubs, whether that's sororities, whether that's debutantes. I don't know what it is, but it can be anything that we're doing as a collective. Whether that's the church group, whether that's the whatever it is, we're doing it as a group. We're not doing it by ourselves, and we're not taking the credit by ourselves. We're going to go into communities. We're going to go into spaces that will open up and allow us to be collective. And you and I both know we get more done when we're working as a team.
Yes, we do. And like I said, there's been so many times in my life when I've just been very grateful for that little group of people that
Yeah.
surrounds me and supports me.
Me too. I can say, and it's always been a village for me. That's why I do anthologies. It's about the collective. It's not about I want to be the only one that because I don't want to be the only one and I don't know everything. So let's keep that movement going in terms of collective. And there are many cultures and many places around the world that's top leadership. I've traveled, internationally, and I always when I travel in the world, anywhere on the planet, I'm looking at I go for vacation, but I also go to see the role of women in that area. In that, what do women do in terms of leadership?
Well, as I said earlier, you have spent decades mentoring others.
Yes.
What's one way that maybe you've seen? Do you have a story to share about how you've seen mentorship truly change someone's trajectory?
Oh, yes, I have plenty. Being in the education for a long time, working at universities, I have plenty stories. I mean, my mentees still connect with me 10, 15, 20, 30 years later. And I get to see the lifespan. Get to see the development. So I remember one story where my sorority sister called me about this young aspiring leadership female. And she said, I'm going to send her to you for you to mentor her. And I said, just have her look me up, have her call me, have her email me, and I will gladly have lunch because I love to have lunch. I'm a foodie. So X calls me and we go out and have lunch. And I ask her about her ambition, her goals, because at that time she was working as a admin person. And she says, well, I want to go back to get my master's and I want to go do. And so this has been like 15 years ago. And I just met with her. We had a meeting about 2 months ago. We had lunch. And I have followed her from her BA degree all the way now she's working on, and I've said, you have to do this, and you have to do this, and it's interesting. She's not a mini me, but she went in her first master's was an MSW because I have an MSW as well. So she went and got her MSW from this prestigious university. And then she worked as a clinician. Then she got opportunity for another prestigious university in a more administration leadership position. And then I said, well, now you know you have to get your doctorate. You just can't stop there because they will pay for you to go to school. And now she's working on her doctorate and will be finishing 28 and in higher ed. So I can tell you countless stories. I mean, it's probably, I could say at least 20 individuals that I have impacted that way. And I'm just so, because what is our legacy? What is our legacy that we want to leave? And that's my legacy. My legacy is to make sure my mentees, I have done sponsorship for people to get jobs, promotions. I know what my assignment is. Yes.
That's awesome. 20. That's awesome.
20
And
years.
there's
And that,
probably even more people that you've impacted that you don't even realize they're out
you're
there.
right.
You just don't know how you've touched
Yes.
them. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for my listeners who want to show up as better leaders, and allies, and community builders, but aren't sure where to start, what's an honest first step?
Well, the first step would listen to your podcast, of course.
Well, thank you. No.
I think we have to do our work too. This is not easy. This is not easy work, right? So I have taken every opportunity in my career to learn how to lead, right? So I remember my employer paid for me to do leadership training. So I did the Center for Creative Leadership for your listeners. I mean, they had people from what, 25 to 85, and you're all around the world, Canada, Greensboro, North Carolina, and I believe Belgium. So you have to you we it, you it, we and we have sponsors ourselves. So when someone sponsors you or me, we have to pay it forward. So I just say read everything you can on leadership, listen to everything, follow your heart, and do what's right. Because we are not going to be on this planet forever and we want our legacy to continue. We want to continue to carry the light and we want someone else to carry the light when we can't carry it anymore.
I like that. And what was
Yeah.
that? The Centers for Creative Leadership? I am not
Yes,
familiar,
yes,
so okay,
yes. Yeah, look it up. It's in 3 locations. Been around probably 40 or 50 years, I think.
cool. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, ladies, you heard it. Centers for Creative Leadership. Look it up.
Yes.
So if someone realizes, and I know someone who's going through this right now, this is why I'm asking. So if someone realizes they've got things wrong in the past, I'm
Yes.
a big believer in, okay, it's in the past. Once you put it behind you, move forward. You can't always go back and fix it, but at least, you're moving forward. Try not to do it again, whatever. But
Yes.
this person is kind of stuck. How do people move forward without getting stuck in shame or defensiveness?
Yes. Well, wisdom, right? What did you learn? And because getting stuck, Melodian, can be a breakthrough as well. Impasse. Because it means take a pause sometimes. Stop. What happened? And be really, and don't be perfectionistic about it, like I should have been perfect, it was my fault, just if just what I always say, because I work in clinical practice, and I hear this a lot. You work with shame and embarrassment and guilt and all those things, those things that can hold us back. And I will say to what are your lessons learned, and move forward, let it go. Build upon that. Grow. Expand. Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to make him listen to this now. We have that conversation a lot every time I see him because it's like, I've been so awful in my past. And I said, we've all done things in our
Yes, we have.
past that we're
Yes.
not proud of. The
Right.
point is now you realize it, don't do it anymore,
That's right.
and you move forward. And yes, if you can go back and make restitution somehow or correct it somehow, then by all means do that. But
Yes.
if you can't, then just, do your best not to do that anymore and move on because you're not doing anybody any service by wallowing in shame and guilt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we are, and none of us are perfect human beings, right? We are not perfect that way. And so just make amends, um, and move forward and help someone else.
So if there was one idea that you hope people carry with them after this conversation, what do you hope it is?
That you just please be your best self and step into your greatness every day and embrace love and kindness and move forward with that. That's all I can say. Because if we aren't stepping out as our best selves, then we have to do work. But we can always extend small gifts of loving kindness.
Well, I love this whole conversation. I'm
Thank
already
you.
sitting here making plans to have you come back
I
for a
would love
couple more
to.
conversations
I would love to.
because
I would love
like
to.
I said, some of our topics were like, oh yeah, that's a whole other
It's a
episode in
whole nother,
itself.
yes, yes, yes,
But
yes. But
I
I'm
thank you for this conversation and for your honesty and your
yes,
clarity and just your willingness to sit in uncomfortable places because we all know
yes,
right now
it
there's some
is.
uncomfortable places.
Yes, there is. Yes,
but
there is.
but that's where real growth actually happens. So
It
I
does.
appreciate the way you framed it, that
Thank
you
you.
framed it as service and mentorship is walking alongside, not standing
Yes,
above.
yes. Thank
And
you. Mhm.
to anyone listening, my hope is that today's conversation reminded you that meaningful change doesn't start with saying the right things. It starts with being willing to listen, willing to learn,
Yes.
and just showing up with humility and
Showing up.
courage.
Yes,
Not perfectly, like she said, we're not perfect,
yes.
but show up, not perfectly, not performatively, but honestly and authentically. So this episode was never about having all the answers. It's about
Absolutely.
staying open and choosing relationship over defensiveness. And it's about understanding that growth often begins with discomfort. And as always, thank you all for being part of the Rebel Tribe. This is a space for real conversations and thoughtful reflection and showing up as we are, even when we're cold and tired and still finding our footing. So until next time. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep choosing the work that actually matters.